If you're looking for exclusive content, please don't look any further than joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. Some of the best reptile keepers in this industry are part of the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you connect to a Discord. You can also tap into an Instagram group chat, connect with some of the most diverse keepers we have in the reptile hobby today. Shout out to my Patreon members and be ready for Trap Fest 2026. It's going to be one of the biggest events yet. Find all information again in the very first link in the description below. And again, thank you so much to all my fellow Patreon members out there. Cheers! Trap Talk Reptile Network, coolest reptile network in the world. Welcome to episode 801. We are in the 800s now, guys. Yes, let's go. Tonight, we got the great and powerful Vanessa Crutchfield tapping in finally. Man, I've been wanting to have this lady on the show for a while now, and she's here. So, but yeah, guys, I'm your boy MJ. If this is your first time tapping in, welcome. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, select all. You'll be reminded of every episode released out of the network 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Brand new episodes all the time coming out of the network. Just want to remind you guys, you can listen to all these episodes on all major audio platforms. So if YouTube isn't your thing, head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. You can listen to all audio episodes from those platforms, okay? Let's get to sponsors, man. Shout out to ZooMed, #1 reptile brand in the reptile industry, just shy of 50 years. Get your next reptile product at zoomed.com. You can find all the latest ZooMed products in the description below. My favorite being the Slither Sense. Thank you so much to ZooMed and the entire ZooMed team. Please follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and on Facebook, and make sure you get that next reptile product at zoomed.com. Thank you so much, ZooMed. Also, this episode is brought to you by Focus Cube Habitat's #1 PVC enclosures in the game out of Texas. Everything you see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Stephen Ashley of Focus Cube Habitats. Just go to focuscubehabitats.com. You can select from 30 plus different design enclosures, and definitely check them out on their Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. Find all the links in the description below. Thank you again, Focus Cube Habitats. Also, this episode is brought to you by Phenome Genetics. Make sure you get your sheds turned into phenome when it comes to wanting to know the sex of your green tree pythons fresh out of the egg. Also, make sure you turn in those ball python sheds to find out what morphs you have. No more guessing. The guessing is now out the door with Phenome Genetics. Thank you so much, Josh and Jeffrey and the entire Phenome team, for everything you guys are doing. Been making a lot of noise in the hobby lately, and it seems to be coming through. So thank you so much, Phenome Genetics. Last but not least, shout out to Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. Make sure you buy your next reptile at morphmarket.com. Feel safe when it comes to purchasing your reptiles from some of the best breeders that we have in the industry. Morph Market makes sure that you are safe when it comes to buying reptiles off their website. So have a peace of mind when it comes to shopping at Morph Market. And you can also ship directly through Morph Market's website, save tons of money with all their shipping labels. And not to mention, you can buy all shipping supplies off their website as well. So thank you so much, Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. And yeah, guys, man, Vanessa Crutchfield, I don't know her that well. I know a lot of her. You know, she's been around the block. She was born into this hobby. Okay. Her father being Tom Crutchfield, who's one of the biggest names in this hobby for decades back, man. We're talking the 70s. Yeah, her dad has been quite the figure in this hobby. I don't know much of Tom other than what he's done in the hobby. Read some things about him in the Lizard King book. And then now we have this HBO documentary that's going to be launching August 6th. Okay. Vanessa seems to be getting, I don't want to say dragged under the bus, because, you know, there are people that have some type of feeling about this documentary. I don't know what to feel about it, to be honest. You know, obviously I'm not from that era. I have an opinion on that era, but then also, man, I know people change. I know, you know, a lot of people grow up in this life. I'm a spitting image of that. So I'm going to try my best not to be so judgy when it comes to Tom Crutchfield. I want to hear it straight from Vanessa herself, but I also want to know Vanessa's story, you know, what it was like to be born into the reptile industry. You know what I mean? The reptile industry chose her. She did not choose the reptile industry. And this is going to be a great episode. Again, I've been wanting to talk to Vanessa for a long time. She's had experience breeding tree monitors and other amazing reptiles that I'm obsessed with. I remember inquiring about Timor pythons from her years back. And yeah, I'm telling you right now, I've been waiting for this episode for a long time. So with guys, let's get to it. Without further ado, I bring you the great and powerful Vanessa Crutchfield coming for episode 801. You guys are in for a treat. So do what you gotta do to get your mind right, and do what you gotta do to stay hydrated. Vanessa Crutchfield, let's go. Gee.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crowd, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
all right. We're live with the one and only Vanessa Crutchfield. How you doing, Vanessa?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm awesome. Glad to have you here. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time. Again, as far as what I know about you, you really love the reptiles. You've been a part of this game your entire life. Your pops being Tom Crutchfield, which a lot of stuff in the works with your dad right now with the documentary. But before we get to all that and whatnot, how you been? How's it going?
It's going good. I'm not only in the reptile community, but I've been a vet tech for a very long time. So I've been in tech for like 25 years. So I work with
Wow.
at a veterinary clinic as well.
Okay, so animals in general.
Yeah, I've worked with animals in general my entire life. Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
So
And again,
before
yeah.
I came here, I'm currently in North Carolina. Before I came here, I was in Alabama, and I worked at a grizzly bear rescue for a year and helped with taking care of grizzly bears. It was pretty fun.
Wow, yeah, I saw photos. I believe with you, I saw you with some grizzly bears, and I believe one of your sons were with working with some grizzly bears too.
My grown son, yep, Elijah.
Your grandson Elijah. Okay, cool. I love bears, man. When it comes
No,
to all the
no,
man,
no, no, my adult son. He is my adult son. He's 23.
okay,
He's not. I don't have any grandkids yet.
okay,
Yet.
okay. You were born and raised in Florida, though, correct?
That's right.
And as far as back that you could remember, you were kind of born into the animal scene. I mean, ever since you were a real little girl, correct?
Yeah, so some of my earliest memories include a false gavial in our front yard. Um, the property that I, grew up on in Fort Myers was off of Cemetery Road, and Dad had a crocodile pond in the front yard. So as I was like my very first memories of being a child, we had a swing set, and then we had a crocodile pen. And so Dad had false gavials. So he had the false gavial in the front yard, and that's an animal that I grew up around. I swam with that animal plenty of times in my life, and I don't know. We when we moved up from there from South Florida to Central Florida, Dad had the crocodile farm there, and I think it was like about 11 when we moved there, and I had jobs that I had to do. I had to clean the alligator grow outs 3 days a week, every
Mm.
other day. And one of them was like it was pretty horrible. So they were doing stuff with figuring out how to grow animals to maximum capacity for skins and things like that. But Dad was just interested in learning if you could actually grow them faster, and it was heated. It was a heated grow out, and it was covered. And so like you'd have to drop into it, and it was only like 2 feet. You had to squat down inside and spray with all the alligators. So it was super fun.
Oh my
It was
God.
interesting. It was like 90 degrees, hot, steamy, smelly.
Oh my God.
I was 11. Yeah, I was
11.
11. Yeah, I was 11 when I started doing that. And so I started working hands-on with the crocodilians when I was very young. And then with venomous, same thing. I started working with venomous when I was 13. So
Jeez.
dad had that commercial venomous room there. And it had everything in it. Really the only thing I wasn't allowed to handle that he didn't really want me handling was like king cobras
Right.
and large black mambas. But we handled, I mean, I did eventually handle all that stuff, but you know, when I was very young, that's how it was. He was like, "You're don't mess with the black mambas or the or the king cobras there."
With the
So I would
crocodilians,
have to,
the crocodilians, he felt okay with you working with.
man. When I grew up, people are so funny. Okay, so for example, the only way to tell if a crocodile has eggs is whether or not the female is actually attacking you, because they'll build up their nest days to weeks in advance of them depositing eggs, right? So
Yeah.
some crocodilians dig holes to lay eggs, and a lot of them build nests. Well, the ones that build nests, the only way that you can tell if there's eggs in it is if the female crocodile tries to attack you. So mind you, I was little. When I was little, my dad used to be like, run in there real quick and try and touch that and see if she tries to get you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that yeah, people are always like, oh, da 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 da. Listen, I was used as crocodile bait.
My God.
Yeah, it's a true story though. I also collected all the eggs as well. So when they would go in, so the Cuban crocodiles were the worst,
Yeah.
absolute worst. And they would build a central nest. We had, I think it was like 2 males and 5 females. So the female crocodiles would build a central nest, like in the center. If there was 2 ponds in the middle of the pen, and then 3 of them would lay in the same nest. So you're trying to basically defend against three of very angry, large Cuban crocodiles. And they run different than other crocs, and they jump different than other crocs because their main food in the wild is nutria, which live in the trees. So they
Got
have to
it.
jump up and grab their food. They're real good jumpers.
My
So we would
God.
go in. With like chain link fence gates turned sideways, and all of the crocodiles were trained to the PVC pipe. So we would tap them with the PVC pipe or move them away with the PVC pipe. We had done that since they were small, so they were all trained to it. So they would have to use the PVC pipe in the gates to block them back, and kind of more or less, push them off. And the crocodiles were serious about it. They would come from all 3 directions. The Cuban
Oh my God.
crocodiles, 2 of them would come from the side and one would come from the back. It would be like Jurassic Park type shit, you know. They have problem solving intelligence. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you were never feared of the animals. Like you ever since you're a little girl, you were just brought into it to where it never really scared you to do any of this stuff.
I've never been scared of animals. Not of any kind of animals, really. Like,
Yeah.
there's a certain kind of healthy respect that you have to have, but there's
Right.
a difference between healthy respect and fear.
Yeah. So just I don't want to say similar story because you're way more advanced compared to my experience getting the love for animals in general. I had this uncle back east We called him Uncle Lloydie. He was a hippie dude. Like the guy was out there. But he had an exotic zoo farm. And ever since I was a kid, I would go roam that farm. And I remember going into a house that was all just for snakes. And I was in one of the venomous rooms. And in that venomous room, there was an actual tub with a bunch of crocodilians in it. And I remember being in that room alone for like an hour. And I don't know where my mom was. They were out chit chatting, and I'm just in awe. But it was crazy how you say that. I was scared. It was a respectful type of like feeling. It was like, I loved what I was looking at, but I was like, I don't want any part of that, as far as like, I already knew not to put my hand in there. You know what I mean? But I instantly fell in love with it. Like, it was something I always wanted to be a part of. And I was about 5 or 6 years old when I had that experience, but I couldn't imagine, having a dad like Tom Crutchfield, where, all right, get in there and go get some eggs.
Well, in fact, was not scared to stick my hand in. So I did get jacked up quite a number of times when I was young. Yeah, I would put my hands in there. I don't give a damn. I was always touching something, but he had like I did get injured a couple times pretty bad. I got bit really bad by a soft shell turtle. My dad told me somebody had brought in, okay, this is the 1980s, mind you. I was a little kid, and somebody had brought in a half-grown albino soft shell in a 5-gallon bucket, and it like halfway filled up that bucket. So maybe it wasn't half-grown, it was a young one. But my dad said, "Don't you put your hands in there? That'll bite the crap out of you." And I was like, okay.
Sure.
And as soon as he walked out of the room, I did attempt to reach in there and pick that thing up, and I immediately got bit really bad by that soft shell. So that was a memorable bite for me, the soft shell. I still have a scar on my finger from that, and there's a couple others I can think of. I got bit. My dad was a fun dad. So I was cleaning the crocodile grow outs, and in this case it was Cuban crocodiles, and we had to keep the Cuban crocodiles down at one side, because the drain side had, in order to have the drain in there, we had like a wire in the hole so that the crocodiles couldn't go down while it was draining. And so you had to stand there with your right next to the wire and keep the crocodiles away from that corner, because we don't want any accidents to happen. So that was what I was doing. And one of the Cuban crocodiles swam over, and these are 3 to 4 foot animals. This is not like some little tiny baby or something.
No. Yeah.
And I had on like the water boots. And so I put my foot on its back, like to hold it in place for a second, because I was going to snatch it. And I saw it turn around and look at me like that. And when it saw me, it slid out from under my foot and jumped. And I told you, they're very accurate jumpers. Yeah. It bit me on the wrist really bad, and I jerked my arm. It's an automatic. It's an automatic thing that if you see something, you do this. So I did that, and the teeth slung out backwards like this. It ripped out of my arm, and this thing went flying like a helicopter and hit the wall. And my dad said, "Oh my God, is that crocodile okay?" That's a true story, man.
Oh,
and then he said, God. And then he looked at my arm and was like, ugh, looks like you need stitches, so you can't finish cleaning the grow outs now. So yeah, so I finished cleaning the grow outs, and then it didn't need regular stitches, but I did get some butterflies, because the teeth like pulled out of my arm like drug out backwards, so it was long lines of rips.
I'm assuming you got to get it cleaned out and everything like that. I'm sure, like, I mean, those.
It got cleaned out with grow out water.
Oh my God.
Got cleaned out with grow out water. I rubbed some dirt in it. That's about how it got cleaned out. I finished cleaning the grow outs.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that is kind of my childhood summed up into like a very small circle right there.
I'm curious, did you have friends in school and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like, did you go to normal grade school? And then what do they think of your lifestyle and you know, what you went through at home?
So I did not go to a normal school. I was in Baptist Christian school until I was a junior in high school, and I was like, Dad, please, can I go to regular school? Because my mom is a big Christian, like Bible thumping type of person. And, like,
Okay.
no hate on my mom. My mom is a lovely person, but that's her deal right there, and that's why that we ended up in that Christian school. But I didn't particularly like it. And yeah, of course, we brought animals for show and tells and did little shows and all that stuff. Like anytime, you know, I was in school as a kid, we always did stuff for that school. And like even my little kids, I have a 10 and 11-year-old, but when they were younger and we were in Homestead, like at their summer camp, I did a couple of times. I took animals over for their summer camp and let the kids pet them and touch them and all that good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Education for the kids is the biggest thing, really.
Right. Right. You know,
You know?
even I knew that as a kid. You know, nothing inspired me more than seeing animals brought to the school. And, you
Yeah.
know, it's a huge part of what we do. And, you know, that also instills into a child to where when they grow up, they want to become something like what we are. You know what I mean? But also, you know, again, even that being said, just you did not have a typical lifestyle. You know, obviously growing up with
Not
Tom
really.
Crutchfield, you were a part of a lot of the pioneer type days. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering how it makes you feel looking at how you were brought up versus 2026, how things are now. Quite different, right?
Well, quite different and a lot better in many ways. Like I really like the push for taking care of the animals and keeping the animals properly. Like,
Yeah.
there's, I really, you know, just like my dad, you know, and I don't like seeing those big giant snakes in those little tiny cages. I
Right.
don't like it. You know, my dad has spoken out about that for many years now. He really dislikes it. He tries to keep animals in large enough cages, you know, enclosures and habitats where they can thrive. And a lot of times people are more interested in just having them housed in the bare minimum. I feel like there needs to be industry standards as far as caging requirements. We are light years behind our European brothers and
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
You know, the Europeans really do some great work with their animals, and we are a lot of time. Like I still see in groups like somebody with a light on their lizard coming from the side, and it's an albino, and they're saying, "Oh, it's not eating." Well, yeah. One, they're nearly blind, and two, I mean, why don't you have a light on top of it rather than pointing at its side? It's like it hasn't eaten for 10 days. I see stuff like this in groups all the time. It
Right.
just, I don't know, it's just kind of disheartening to still see how much people still don't know, even with the amount of information that we all know now.
Yeah, and Vanessa, the tough thing is, it's like when somebody like yourself or your dad has the knowledge that you guys have, you know how many know-it-alls are in the hobby now? Like you have people that don't want to listen. They think whatever they've researched on Google is the best way to do it. And the ignorance behind just listening to somebody with experience is next level in this hobby, dude. It's crazy. You get people get offended, you get people who get into their feelings versus just hearing other options, you know, like being open-minded. It's not like a thing anymore in this hobby. I don't get it.
Well, that's the thing about the old days. Those guys were always learning from each other because nobody knew, right?
Yeah, correct.
Nobody knew. So when somebody found something that worked, they all were like, "Oh, okay. Well, look, we're gonna do this."
Right.
And that's kind of how everybody learned, by trial and error. And of course, they did learn at the expense of the animals. A lot of that was learned at the expense of the animals. But honestly, reptiles are one of the few animals that we can give a much longer and healthier lifespan in captivity, and we have the capability of doing that. So, you know, I feel like we should.
No,
We should.
100%. So let's go back to like some of your Florida days. You know, after high school and whatnot, what was it that you wanted to do? Like, what, you know, being the fact that you grew up with these animals so closely, what was a passion for you, you know, coming out of high school?
Well, here's what happened after high school. My dad, and this was while I was in high school. My dad and mom left and went to Belize. Um, we all drove. We drove together from Florida to Belize. So, after when that happened, I actually moved and went to Belize for several years with my parents. And then after like 2.5, 3 years after they extradited my dad back to the U.S., we we came back. You know, I drove back out for the last time. I had a lot of interesting road tripping because I drove from Florida to Belize, which means you drive all the way through the U.S. and then through Mexico. So I drove all the way to Belize and back approximately like 10 times, I want to say. It was super fun adventures. I got to do and see all kinds of neat things that I never would have gotten to see otherwise. So that's what I did for a couple years after that, and then I had a lot of animals, and then I ended up working at the first vet clinic that I worked at when I was 21. First started working at veterinary medicine back in 2001. In 2001, yes, yeah, way
So
back.
was that when you guys came back from Belize? Was early 2000s?
Yes,
Okay. So how long were you guys there for?
like 2.5, 3 years.
Got it. And it was mainly because your pops was dodging some legal issues that was going on here in the United States?
Yes, evading prosecution by the federal government. Yes.
Wow. And so they ended up bringing your dad back. You came back as well. And then that's when you decided to go into vet school?
Well, I didn't go to vet school. I'm a on the job trained technician. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, obviously, one thing I've noticed that you're really good at, Vanessa, is like, you know, not only are you good with animals, but you're good with breeding. I know you've gotten tree monitors to breed for you under your belts. What are some other things you're pretty proud of when it comes to breeding?
So I did get my Viper boas bred.
Yes.
So I bred a lot of stuff when I was at Dad's house. I really did I bred. Let me see a little list, because when I ended up at Dad's, me and my oldest son ended up taking over care of all the animals. Dad didn't do anything with the animals, so we were the ones that were taking care of all the breeding, feeding, and maintenance. So I bred, while I was there, I bred Sanzinia,
Wow.
diamond pythons, Ford's boas, Jamaican boas, Cuban boas. I'm trying to think. Oh, Dominican red mountain boas.
A lot of this stuff was kept outside too, Vanessa, or no? I can't.
It was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And also yellow tree monitors, blue tree monitors. I was trying really hard to breed the black trees, but I did not. I was unsuccessful. And also my tree monitors would only breed from October to March because the rest of the year is too hot.
Right.
I have Western Papua on my phone, like the temperatures from Western Papua, and I can assure you that South Florida is way hotter than West Papua. So I had some issues. Like a couple of times, I got a female blue tree from Strictly, like an imported one, and I put her out in one of the lesser planted cages because it was one of the only ones that we had left available. And man, that thing didn't eat for like a month, and I was like stroking out. I was like, oh my God, apparently I guess I'm terrible at this. I'm over there like, what am I doing wrong? It's got to be something. And my dad has always said, failure, failure to thrive means failure to provide. And this is something that he always says, failure to thrive means failure to provide. So I was sitting there looking at this animal over and over again, like, what am I doing wrong here? This is the same as all the other animals that has the exact same kind of habitat. It's getting the exact same feeding regimen. Well, you know what it was? That cage was in direct sun. And most of my other tree monitor cages had partial shade, or were heavily planted so they could get into cooler areas. And
Right.
so I moved that animal and it literally ate the next day. And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
it's that simple. But it's hard to, when you're outside, it's really hard to keep the temperatures how you want them. And I noticed that the tree monitors specifically only bred during the cooler months, so October to March. And when they I personally saw the yellow tree monitors breeding one day when it was 53 degrees outside. It was 53 degrees and we were in process of moving all the animals inside because it was going to be under 50,
Mm.
which was a big task, moving every single animal inside. So we went ahead and they were out there breeding, so I left them until it was after dark, because what? I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
you know
And it's
hmm
crazy how that small adjustment, which I mean, not so small, but that exposed sun keeping away from that animal is what kind of made that animal want to eat again.
Well,
And
it's too hot.
yeah, too hot, correct. And then it wasn't as planted as the other enclosures too, correct? Like it wasn't filled as much as, like, not much to hide or
Right.
shade and stuff like that, right?
Well, the rest of the habitats had a large amount of pothos in them. And
Right.
this one didn't have very much pothos in it. And that's what I mean by, there was shade on the top. Like I had like a metal, thing over half of it on the top because I was concerned that it was a little too warm. But even with that, it didn't do what it was supposed to. And I did also experiment with artificially reducing the temperature. I know, outside, right? So I put sprinklers on. I would put the sprinklers on for like 3 or 4 hours a day, and try to and shift it around on all the tree monitors and try to cool them down to see if I could artificially reduce temperatures so that they would breed. And it did not work.
Yeah.
If you can reduce the temperatures enough to get them to breed inside, that's wonderful. But I could only get breeding from October to March.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about keeping them outside. You're at mercy of the weather. It's kind of, you could have all the strategic husbandry and everything perfect, but if it's a super hot, if there's a heat wave, or even the other way, if it gets too cold, which I don't know if it ever gets too cold in Florida, does it?
It does.
It does?
So
Okay.
in South Florida where it was below. Anytime it got below 50 degrees, we would pack
Bring
all
them
the
in.
animals in. Yeah, the animals would come in.
Okay, so you did have to fight either too hot or too cold sometimes where you're at.
Occasionally. So only, in my case, it was only for the tree monitors. Like the rest of the animals that were outside, they all love and thrive those kind of temperatures. But
Correct.
in my personal belief is that the tree monitors like it a little bit lower than 90 degrees ambient. It's not just an opinion, it's a fact. They do
Okay.
like it way less than 90 degrees ambient. That's pretty hot for a base temp for a tree monitor. It's real
Right.
hot.
Right.
So, like I said, I would always try to keep them in the cages that were under trees where they only got dappled sunlight, and then that were also planted with pothos. So, yeah.
What was a diet that seemed to be working for your tree monitors, Vanessa? Like, how'd you like to feed them?
I used all kinds of stuff. I would use, only some of them would eat hornworms,
Okay.
but I would give them hornworms sometimes. They would get crickets. They would get pinkies. They would get roaches. We had a lot of roaches actually outside there in the cages and stuff. So if you flip something over in the cage, roaches would run. They love that. Mice, quail eggs, quail. I just gave them a fully varied diet. And I also didn't, I noticed, and I've had a lot of people tell me like, oh, well, my monitor won't eat every day. Well, do you think monitors eat every day in the wild? They're not successful every day, and you have
Correct.
to give them rest. Like when I was trying to trigger them to go into vitellogenesis, I would not feed them for 4 or 5 days, and then I would feed them a fatty meal like some pinky mice or something,
Got it.
and it would help sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, but diverse was key with their diet, correct?
Diversity, and also like yeah, I always change their food up. They'll get a different food item, but also not overfeeding them. And it's a big problem with monitor lizards and lizards in general, where people have them super obese.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't
I
need
mean,
to be obese. Have you ever seen a healthy
yeah.
one come in from the wild? They do not look like that.
No, they're not at all. It's crazy. You know, I have had buddies go take documentation of them in the wild, and they look healthy, but they don't look fat. I'll tell you that much. They look like athletic, like super athletic.
They're lean, and
Lean.
you
Yeah,
get
they're lean.
way better breeding and all that stuff if you keep them lean.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Better sperm
Kind of,
count, the whole deal.
I'm curious what work you did with venomous at your younger age. Like, I know your dad told you to stay away from king cobras and whatnot, but I'm sure you still dabbled.
No, I cleaned all the cages and fed all the animals. Like I was in there cleaning cages. He would just tell me, don't mess with the kings or don't mess with the mambas. We'll do those. So the rest of everything that was in there in racks, we had, all that stuff was being held for sale. So it was all in little racks and cages and stuff.
So the venomous was there for mainly to breed and sell to others.
No, not to breed. That was it was a commercial venomous room, and those animals were all for sale. So dad would get like whole clutches of baby cobras. He would import bunches of venomous, African shipments, like, you'd get puff adders, squams, gaboons, rhinos, a lot of different cobras. There was a lot of stuff. Like dad would buy whole litters of baby cobras, so we would have like black packs or red spitters. You want to hear a fun story? One time I was cleaning cages in there, and I think I was about like 13 or something, and I went to pull. These were little hard plastic boxes, and they had holes in them that were put in with a solder machine or whatever. What calls it? Soldering machine. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So I was pulling these boxes out, and something wet hit me on my cheek. And mind you, I was a little kid, so I was like, all right, looking up to see if there's like water dripping out of the ceiling, or like maybe then I was like, oh, you know what? You're just imagining that. Nothing did that. So I put that one back in and go to get another one out. And at that moment, like there was another box right here sticking out. And I noticed the animal was hooded in it. And I turn and look like this. And it's a red spitter. And it was spitting through the air holes in the box.
Oh my gosh.
It was spitting through the air holes in the box, a baby one, and hitting me right on my cheek.
What would have happened if it got into your eyes?
You have to. I mean, nobody's ever died from that. You'd have to rinse your eyes out and put. You'd have to rinse your eyes out and probably go have somebody put some medication in your eyes. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody's ever. I don't think anybody's died from getting spitter venom in their eyes ever. But yeah, it hit me right on my cheek, and perfect. New fear unlocked.
Yeah.
Spitting through air holes.
And you could have sworn it was nothing.
Well, I did. It was just like this little tiny bit of fluid. So I was like, "What is that?" Just some dumb kid.
Yeah.
But yeah. I cleaned out cobras. I started cleaning out cobra cages when I was like 13. Clean out all these cobras. He had racks and racks of them. He had everything in there. There was all kinds of stuff. I didn't really like. I don't really like the mole vipers were difficult to deal with because they're hard to hook and move. There's several different things that were hard to deal with that weren't my particular favorites. Like, forest cobras are cool and all, but they're a real pain in the ass to deal with.
Dude, that's a whole venomous snake right there, man. Forest cobras
Yeah,
are no joke.
they're a real pain in the ass to deal with if you've got a real angry one. So,
Yeah. Jeez. Kind of going back to some of the stuff with your dad, overall, what was your relationship with your dad growing up? Like, did you guys, obviously he ran the show, but was there ever a time and place, especially as you got older, where you were maybe like, giving him some advice, or did he not take advice well? I'm just curious, like, how that dynamic worked as you were getting older and more experience.
Oh, my dad has always listened when I've said stuff. Like, if I made a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
he was always kind. If you're talking about when we were on the farm, when I was doing the monitors and stuff, Dad didn't have any hand in breeding the tree monitors. Dad was retired, sitting up in the house, chilling. So he didn't. Honestly, he couldn't give me any advice because I wouldn't listen to it anyway. Because I felt like I knew better.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Right.
Like,
No.
I knew better. I was the one that bred him, not him. So how is he going to give me advice on it?
Right. And what year was it when you left the farm?
24.
2024?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that's only 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. 2024. And I was, when I left in 2024, I went to the bear place and I worked there for a year. And then I came up here to North Carolina.
Okay. And the bear place was in Alabama? I'm sorry. Where was the bear place? Yeah. Okay.
It was in Alabama, Geneva, Alabama.
And how'd you get that gig, Vanessa?
Face card, Crutchfield. Okay, what really happened was, earlier that year, two of my friends had told me that they had vouched for somebody to go work over at the bear place, and that person was not showing up, and that the guy who owned the bear place, Dexter, never got to go out of town because how the fuck can you get somebody to pet sit your bears? You know what I mean? It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
So they were both saying to me how they had vouched for this person. This person didn't even show up, and the guy and Dexter was supposed to leave in like a week and a half, and had nobody that could come out there and do anything. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure my Elijah would love to pet sit bears. And so I offered him as a solution. I asked my beloved son if he would like to do that, and he was like, yeah. So so he went over there and pet sat. He was there for one day before they left, and he pet sat the bears while they were gone. And they were out of town for like 2 weeks or something, 10 days. And they, he got to do all that, and then he came back to Dad's, and he was saying how much, he loved the bears and all that. And then when I knew I was gonna have to leave Dad's, because we weren't getting along, when I knew I was gonna have to leave Dad's, I had asked them if they were still looking for a caretaker, and they were like, sure. I'm like, well, I promise I won't get mauled. you know, because I'm not I'm not ignorant. I've been around dangerous animals my whole life. I know how not to get hurt, and that's by not doing stupid shit. But you run the risk when you don't know somebody that they could come out there and be like inside the bear pen doing selfies, which these are grizzly bears. These are not black bears. This is not
Yeah.
you not really cannot really fool around with that like that. They're not a joke at all. So yeah, I ended up out there, and they had a mandrill, they had bears, they had a camel, a bunch of farm animals.
How many bears, Vanessa?
There was 5 bears out there at the time. They have more now,
Wow.
but there was five bears out there at the time. 2 real big grown ones and three younger ones. The oldest one was 23 years old. Dexter bottle raised that bear and had raised him since he was a tiny baby. So Dexter had owned him the entire 23 years. And let me tell you, keeping a bear contained ain't no joke. I would never want to own a bear personally. After that experience, whew, buddy, you want to talk about pen maintenance?
Oh, I can't even imagine the kind of turds you had to clean up in that thing.
Oh, well, it's not even that. I'm talking about what they do, like digging and stuff like that.
Oh,
One day,
shit.
one of the big bears went over there and started digging, and we noticed it after about an hour and stopped him. But we had to rent an excavator to fill that back in.
Oh my gosh.
It took 3 hours on the excavator to fill it back in. So, you know, I'm not talking. This is they take their little claw like this and go bink and pop a tack weld. Yeah,
Wow.
imagine. Yeah, Dexter welded everything. Dexter had to weld everything.
Oh my
But they
God.
would just be like, bink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
there were
Lord.
6 strands of hot wire in there to keep them in.
And how long did it take for you to kind of get comfortable working with them? Did you feel it right away, or was it a little bit of to take time for you to kind of get into your zone with them?
Well, I liked them right away, but as far as being, I'm never comfortable to go in with them. Like Dexter and all of them would go in with them. My oldest son does it. I personally was not ever interested in that because I know I'm not strong enough to even stunt, like partially get a bear off of me. There's nothing I would be able to do. Like the men, at least, would have the ability to do something to get it off of you, but me personally, no. And the thing with bears, it was also I didn't know how to read them, and
Yeah.
they have a very short trigger. Bears do. So and also they change their mind real quick.
Oh my
So
God.
I know how to read them now. Yeah, I know how to read them now pretty good. I won't say I'm any kind of expert or anything like that, but I have a good idea so what's going on if I'm looking at them. Yeah.
What were one of the things that stood out that gave you a sign to like, okay, I'm not fucking with you right now? Like, what would they do?
Well, if they would look a certain way, they'll have like
Side eye.
they'll do certain things like, well, they'll they'll be looking at you and then all of a sudden like just turn a full focus on. That's never good. You also can't really let them get their feet around your legs and stuff like that because they want to grab you. They're
Yeah.
sweet and all that, but then they'll bite you.
Oh
You
my
know, it's
gosh.
just a bear thing. It's how they do. Dexter always approached them a certain way from behind. If they if they move their body in a certain way, you're likely to have an issue. Also, there's noises that they make. There's noises that they make where I know instantly that that is a mad bear or an angry bear. They'll start going, "Arrgh," making some weird, like they make weird noises like that when they start getting irritated too. And if they're hot, they're automatically irritated. Bears don't like being hot. So there's a lot of factors in dealing with them. I went in with the bears the one time, just freely, with the small bears. Dexter was in there with me. But other than that, nope, sure won't. I sure won't. My son, though, my son goes in with them and greets them and, handles them, does all stuff with them. He's very brave. And he's got a real great gift with animals as well. He's
Pretty sure you
worked with giraffes. He's worked with giraffe, zebra, rhinoceros, hyena, the bears, ostrich, camels, otters. He's worked with all kinds of stuff because he worked at a zoo in South Florida before he came to, and then a zoo in North Florida, and then went to the bear place. So he has a lot of hands-on experience with different animals.
You can't help but to think that he got that from his mama, not being scared and just,
Right. Right. He did, like, his gift farts exceeds mine. I will say that about him. Yeah, his gift far exceeds mine, and we're from a long line of animal people.
Okay.
My dad,
Yes.
we're like 8 or 9 generations in here. My dad's people were all circus people. So my dad's cousin, my dad's grandma's sister had a child, and then her daughter. So my dad's cousin Pandy, and my grandma's sister, my great grandma's sister, they all her dad, Pandy, her dad was Uncle Swede, and Uncle Swede had a big cat show, an elephant show, and all that. My cousin Pandy, my dad's cousin, had she worked for Ringling Brothers for many years. They had a elephant show, and then they also had a chimp show. And then this was obviously way back before I would never want to see a chimpanzee in a show, personally.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
But they had a chimpanzee show, and then her husband's people all were famous animal people from England, the Stevensons. They had a dog and pony act. And then my cousins Liam and Georgia, who was named after my great grandma, cousins Liam and Georgia, they both worked for Ringling Brothers as well. And then you have my dad. My dad's brother is a muscle expert, like muscles.
Okay.
Like the bivalves.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, he's a muscle expert. It's weird. And then my dad with the reptiles, and then me, and then my son obviously is going to be something with animals, and probably my little daughter will be as well.
Yeah, I mean, when it's in the blood, it's in the blood. You know what I mean?
She's good with animals. Yeah, she's not scared.
How old is she, Vanessa, your daughter?
10.
10. Wow. Okay. You have 2 kids?
No, I have 3. I have a 23-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Wow. Okay. So, and the 11-year-old's a girl or boy?
The 11-year-old's a boy, but he's not really. He likes tablets, and he likes tablets and computers and games. He's not particularly. He's not as drawn to animals as those of us.
I mean, not yet. Not yet. That could change.
I don't know. These other ones were drawn to animals when they were tiny.
Right.
Since they were little. Like Amina has never been afraid. I have pictures of her like hugging and kissing the emus, and the emus are like 5 times her size. And there's actually videos at my dad's place of the kids running with the emus. You know how the emus do like the little dances?
Yeah. Yep.
So the kids were chasing the emus, and then the emus were chasing the kids. There's my kids,
that's cool.
they're pretty not scared. When Amina was 3, I was pretty sick. I was at Dad's house. I was pretty sick and I was inside. And Dad's place had that big concrete wall all the way around it, topped with barbed wire. It was 6 feet
Right.
tall, and a front gate that was closable, so nobody could get in and jack the kids or something like that without extreme effort. So I was like, said, go outside and play. Bye, little kids. Bye. And they
Yeah.
were 3 or 4 at the time. They were 3 and 4. So I sent them outside. I was vomiting, and I was laying on the couch trying not to die. And Cameron comes in, and he goes, "Hey, mommy," and he's 4. He said, "Mommy, Amina's with some strange people." And I said, "Huh?" So I get up and come running outside. Do you know what this kid did?
Oh, tell me.
So there was storage containers, and they had like these big plastic tops on them.
Yeah.
And the fence is 6 feet tall. So she takes one of those storage containers and flips it up to the wall and goes up, and she's looking over into the neighbor's yard, and they have puppies over there. Now, if you ask this girl to this very day, she will say they had koalas. And I said, they did not have no daggone koala bears. And she was like, no, they had koalas over there. So she thought they had koala bears and climbed over the top, dropped through the strands of barbed wire, and then dropped 6 feet down into the neighbor's yard.
Oh my gosh.
You know? Yeah. And so
That's
I'm like, hey, Amina. And the neighbor's like, we got her. And they brought her on around. But like, golly, he's like, Amina's with some strange people.
And here you are sick trying to stay alive, and that's, you know, you're gonna jolt like when you hear something like that, for sure.
I was over there fighting for my life on the couch. Yeah. Until I heard that. It sucked the vomit right back down, buddy, I'll tell you.
Took care of that regurg in a minute.
I know, right? Get rid of that regurg.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. You know, one thing I want to get to next year, Vanessa, obviously there's a lot of talk right now with your pops, man. There's that documentary series is coming out. I don't know. From what I understand, this has been in the making for over 10 years now. And I'm wondering, did you catch wind of this at all?
So it's actually yes, it's been in the making since 2011. 2011. Wow. So 15 years. And all these people are on here saying, well, he's doing it because he's retired and he doesn't care. He was an active and full-on member of the hobby when he started filming this.
Okay.
And it has been ongoing for that entire length of time. In fact, if you watch Tiger King, they tell you at the beginning where Dad is in it that I was here filming a documentary. Filming a documentary, and I saw this cat in the car, and that's how I got the idea for this one. Well, what documentary did you think they were filming?
Yeah.
It was that one. It's that one. And I've been at I was at Dad's house. They came out twice to film while we were there. To my knowledge, and from what I saw, everything was on the history of the industry. I sat in there and listened to them interviewing Dad. It was all about things that have happened 30, 40 years ago. Now, I get it. People don't want the story told, but history is history, good or ill. It's like saying that you don't want to hear about the Holocaust. You know, you're saying if you don't hear about history, you're doomed to repeat it. It's the history of the industry. And now, I will say this. They got a lot of them new younger folks in there. I mean, they had Tyler Nolan, and I'm not sure who else they actually interviewed, but Tyler Nolan for sure is in it. And these are younger folks. And I would say, I don't know about his impact in this series. Okay. So I don't know about that, but I know that what my dad was doing was filming a history of the reptile industry. And he was one of the major players for good or ill, whether people like it or not.
Correct.
Like in the development of this, like arguably when my dad basically started the morph craze because he was the one that started breeding him and Bob Clark started breeding those albino Burmese right in the early 80s. And that was the very beginning of the morph craze. Like in the 1950s and 60s, I think Dr. Bechtel had done some stuff with albino corn snakes and corn snake morphs were already starting to be around, but the albino Burmese were really high dollar things.
Yeah.
It was big money. So, yeah, I mean, my dad had a hand in some of that. A lot of it, actually, whether people realize it or not. So, yeah, I mean, I was interviewed. They asked me questions about the history of the industry. I got pulled in front of a federal grand jury when I was 18 years old, you know, and asked about my parents and all these other people in the industry. They specifically asked me about Cameron from Bushmaster.
Yeah.
They asked me about all kinds of folks. And these people are saying that my dad is ratting. My dad never ratted. So I don't appreciate that. You can go back and read the discovery. My dad never ratted on anybody. My dad went to prison. Remember that. My dad went to prison. That's what people do when they don't rat. But I don't know. It was pretty, I've seen a lot of hate stuff on here, and I haven't talked to my dad in a hot little minute. I haven't talked to my dad in a couple years, but I really don't. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear people have talked badly about my dad since I had fucking ears. I could care less what people have to say or think about that. He's my dad.
Yeah. You
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I only have one dad. And all that weird shit, they're saying all this stuff on my page. And then I see all these people saying that dad kills animals. My dad has went out of the way to make sure many animals did not die. My dad is particular about husbandry and is particular about telling other people how to do husbandry. Like if you go down the list and look at what people wrote, a lot of people said he took the time to talk to me when no one else would. You know why he did that? It wasn't for that person, it was for the animals. So my dad has spoken up for animal welfare for reptile welfare specifically for many years now. And I don't appreciate the characterization that he abuses animals because he does not. That pisses me off, actually. It's very rude and disrespectful and untrue.
It's kind of what this hobby's known for is the way they spin narratives. You know what I mean? Because people linger around and they wait for drama to happen. And when they see other people teaming up to get on a certain hot fucking, rant about something, you see people just come out of the woodworks. And I feel like that's what's happening right now with your dad. People who don't even know your dad are making these fucking storylines that could be further than the truth. And I'm sure you're seeing that firsthand, Vanessa.
Would you like to know what I tell them?
Yeah, please do.
If you'd like to change the narrative of the hobby, feel free to become someone influential who can. But until then, you're just giving me your useless opinion that doesn't do anything for anybody because nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
If you want to change the narrative of the hobby, then do something in it where you can. Until then, put up or shut up.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I agree. And people, everybody wants to be somebody, Vanessa. I feel like that's what social media unfortunately does is people have a voice and, they get a couple other people to back them up on their rant. And then they feel like they're doing something impactful when really they're not, there's so much more people can be doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, just spitting your opinion out into the air, basically.
Yeah. You think your
I
dad?
don't know.
You think your dad feels some type of way about the documentary coming out? Like, what's your assumption on how he feels about it?
I'm sure. Well, I mean, he's posted on his page about it.
Yeah,
Like he's
seems
unsure.
yeah.
He's unsure as to how they're going to spin it. But we were told, and I heard them telling, that's basically a history of the industry. I heard Eric tell Dad that, and I seen Eric say it, and we watched a little trailer of it like a couple years, like 3 or 4 years ago, and all the stuff that they showed was basically the history of the hobby. Now, is there a lurid history? Sure. Was some of the hobby involved in drugs? Yes. My dad was not one of them.
Right.
My dad was never involved with drugs, and in fact, when he was convicted at that first trial for the Fiji Island iguanas, they actually overturned the verdict for gross prosecutorial misconduct because the prosecutor kept on doing things like saying my parents were picking up square groupers, which is drugs, and all kinds of stuff. And he was a disgruntled ex customer of my dad's, the prosecutor for the feds. Yeah, and he actually got, I think, disbarred and lost his job after that because he should have recused himself, and it was gross prosecutorial misconduct. But my dad was never involved with drugs, and I see in the trailer a lot of stuff with drugs and guns, and I don't know. That part doesn't look particularly good, but I do know Mario and the Van Nostrans and all that had some dealings with drugs, and were also involved in the reptile industry as well.
I mean,
So
hand
some
in
of
hand
that
together.
is part of the history. Yeah, some of that is part of the history, but any they're not doing that anymore. That's not how everything is anymore. Everything is completely different now in this hobby. We have finally made it to where we have groups like dermatology, rat snakes and predicaments, where people think that reptiles are cute. On my page, I will always post stuff about how reptiles are cute, because people don't kill cute things. That's why cats live. People don't kill things they think are cute. So you just have to make it relatable to people so that they think they're cute or they have respect for them. And then they won't kill them. They won't kill them. I'll say boop that snoot. I'll say danger noodle. I'll say any of that. I could care less, because that makes it relatable to common people, to regular people. And they're like, oh my God, look at this little danger noodle. Oh yeah, come here and look at this danger noodle. See it up close. You know what I mean? You have to relate to people on their level. So I think there's been a great, the world has definitely evolved. I have always been against killing snakes, always. So, and when you tell people they're animals, it blows their fucking mind. They don't even think snakes are animals.
Yeah, it's insane.
They don't even think snakes are animals. We have to do better. And part of that is education and educating kids, really.
Yeah.
Making kids think that reptiles are cute.
It starts with the kids. It really does.
It does, because they're going to grow up and be our lawmakers and lawyers and whatever, politician. They're going to be the ones making the rules. So let's make them think snakes are cute. Everybody.
What got me into the hobby to this extent, Vanessa, was ball pythons, like a lot of other people nowadays. And a lot of the things I'm seeing out there, Vanessa, are parents getting into ball pythons because how much their kid loves them. And then now the parents... Go ahead.
They're wonderful pets.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more about your... Yeah.
I was gonna say the outsiders looking in need to come in more. You know what I mean? And the kids are doing that. The kids are the outlet for their parents to open up their eyes and seeing that, these snakes are animals, and they there's a connection with snakes and kids And even with adults, if you open your mind to it.
For sure. I had one of my first pet snakes was a ball python.
Yeah.
I've always loved ball pythons. They're wonderful snakes. They're wonderful pets for people. So I'm glad that I'm sorry that they're an abused animal, because people really do abuse them. But they're lovely. They're a wonderful pet snake. They don't get big. They rarely bite. They're pretty quiet unless it's nighttime, and they make good pets. They're cute.
Yeah.
They come in all colors. They've been a staple in the industry for a very long time.
It's still the biggest, as far as like beginner snakes, or America's favorite snake is a ball python. I mean, that's still the number one pet snake, I would say. I have a question though, Vanessa. Obviously I don't know if you've seen Tiger King, you've seen Chimp Crazy. Have you seen those documentaries that's been produced by this Eric Good guy?
I saw Tiger King. I did not watch Chimp Crazy. No, I didn't.
Well, it's Chimp Crazy is something else. I'll tell you that. It's quite the documentary. On par, I feel like, with Tiger King. Maybe not as dramatic. I mean, there's murders involved with Tiger King and everything like that. But Chimp Crazy was pretty insane to watch. I recently watched it a couple weeks ago with my wife. I don't know how I feel about this guy's motive, Eric, with what he's trying to do. Because he's sensational. Like he's being known for putting the most craziest stuff out there that's all animal related. How much do you trust this Eric guy?
I don't. But I do know it. I do know that Eric has done. So I remember what my dad told me. My dad said, one, Eric told me, Eric went to prison for smuggling. That's one. This was back in the 80s. Two, Eric has, according to my dad, Eric single-handedly brought Burmese star tortoises back from the brink of extinction with his turtle conservancy. His tortoise conservancy, I can't remember. So Eric does do conservation work. They just recently named a Mexican desert tortoise after Eric's last name. I mean, it was called Eric Goodeye or Goodeye, I think, this Mexican tortoise. I watched Tiger King. I have not watched Chimp Crazy, but I'm not 100% sure on his motives, to be honest. If he's lying about it being on the history of the industry, then he's, it's probably the same thing he said to everybody else. I'm not sure. Sure. I know that when my dad started filming, he didn't have any idea that it was going to probably be sensationalized. And he had already signed all the releases for this, to work on it and to do this. So it wasn't, he didn't know for sure, what it was going to be like. But it was supposed to be a history. Dad has been friends with Eric and known Eric and done business with Eric since the 1970s.
I didn't know that.
So, yes.
So I thought his hands were only in filmmaking. I didn't know he was involved with reptiles. And I just looked at some stuff, and he has a lot of credibility when it comes to conservation and whatnot. I didn't know that.
I know. I do. I did. And all these people are saying all this stuff. But Eric has a lot of conservation stuff going on. He really does. Yeah. And has for years. My dad said that basically he single-handedly brought back Burmese star tortoises from the brink of extinction. Like personally, Eric did personally himself. Wow. So, My dad knows about reptile stuff, so I'm choosing to believe him here. But I'm just saying, like, people saying all this stuff. Eric is in this in this hobby now. He was not in big cats or the chimps. But could it be something negative? Yeah, it could be. Could it also just be a history of the industry? Yeah. Is a history of the industry make us look bad? I mean, hopefully not. It could, though. I mean, there is a dark underbelly to the industry, and it was not just my dad. All the old founding guys, all of them, would go and take trips and bring stuff back. Like back in the 70s, they didn't start, CITES wasn't started till the 1970s, right? And they didn't really start enforcing it until like the 1980s. So one of the things that happened to my dad was he had gotten in a shipment that was supposed to be water monitors, and it cleared customs. It cleared U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Customs cleared it. He picks it up from the airport, brings it to Herpetofauna in Fort Myers, opens it up, and it's Bengal monitors. It's Bengal monitors. It wasn't water monitors. So, or was it Bengal or clouded? Whichever one it was CITES Appendix 1. They were CITES Appendix 1. It was either clouded or Bengal monitors. I can't remember. But they the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, who cleared it from customs, didn't identify them correctly, right? So they identified them as water monitors. Well, when my dad got it home and opened it, to the shop, it was something that was CITES Appendix 1, either clouded or Bengal monitors, I can't remember. And he immediately called Customs and Fish and Wildlife and told them, hey, this is what happened. These were supposed to be water monitors. It's not what it is. Do you know that they fined my dad $25,000 fucking dollars for that? And this is the 1980s. Just think about $25,000 in the 80s. That's a lot of money. Yeah, they fined my dad $25,000 because he took custody of the shipment. Therefore, he was in possession of those illegal animals, even though they cleared them from customs. Yeah. So that was one of the things that they used as points against him when they did the Fiji Island iguana sentencing stuff, was that thing where they fined him $25,000.
For something that wasn't even his fault.
For something that wasn't even his fault, correct. And I think, if I remember correctly, he was probably dealing with Anson Wong at that time still, and he's in that documentary as well. And my dad actually stopped doing business with Anson because the way that Anson would send shipments in would lead to animal deaths, and my dad was fucking furious about it. I think one time he sent in a shipment of impressed tortoises. Now, mind you, my dad specifically told him he did not want those impressed tortoises because a lot of them die. He did not want them. He doesn't want them coming in. Do not ship them. This man sent an entire stacked shipment of impressed tortoises, and I think like there was a couple hundred in there, and only 1 or 2 lived. And after that, my dad completely stopped doing business with Anson Wong because he would not listen to any kind of advice about packing or shipping or care for the animals before shipment. Because like the animals do way better if they have a little bit of care. You know what I mean? If they have things like basic shit like water beforehand. So my dad really stopped dealing with Anson Wong after that shipment of impressed horses. My dad that was it. He would not deal with them anymore, no longer. But Anson used to send fucked up stuff in, and he would send the 3Ds, diseased, dead, and dying. And he's a international dealer. Like, if I had to bet, I would bet Anson is still in the game.
Jeez.
So I don't know. I know he went to prison for a while. They caught him in Mexico in a fake gorilla suit, if I remember that story right. You can go
What?
back and look that up. Yeah, yeah. He thought he was buying a gorilla, and it was an agent in a gorilla suit. He was in Mexico, and I believe he got arrested. You can look it up. It was
Wow.
part of the thing where they caught my dad, like Operation Chameleon, or maybe I'm wrong about the name, but it was one of those little deals.
There was a book about your dad, The Lizard King.
Yes, I read it.
Yeah. What'd you think of the book?
It wasn't too bad. It was fairly accurate. The one that's Brian Christie, right? That
Right.
wrote that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I didn't really like Stolen World. That lady went out of her way to portray my dad as like a really shitty person, and I'm not sure why, because I don't know. She had spent 5 or 6 years prior to that hanging out with him and his
Yeah.
friends and traveling with him
Yeah.
and acting like she was the coolest thing, being so nice. She had acted like all that, and I read that book and I was like, I don't really particularly like this because I didn't like the way
Yeah.
it sounded. But yeah, the Lizard King is fairly accurate if you go back and read all the stuff. It's a fairly accurate information list
But
on
the Stolen
what
World
happened.
was not, though.
Huh?
The Stolen World book was not.
I really didn't like Stolen World particularly. I really didn't
Yeah.
like it very much. I
But
do know about this documentary that my mom was only interviewed one time, and she was a little fucking miffed that she's in the trailer.
one interview and she made the trailer.
My mom is fucking a little hot about that, I will tell you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
like,
man.
"What? Why am I in the trailer?" Don't you worry, Mom. They're gonna put you in the whole thing. She's gonna be
Yeah.
so mad.
She's going to be
She
in the artwork.
resisted. So my mother does not like doing like anything like that. So when my dad did the Locked Up Abroad episode, they flew him to like the UK. They flew him to England, and they paid all his stuff. They paid him, and he was like, "Oh, come on, Penny, you can go to England." My mom was like, "I don't want to go." So my mom literally has not interviewed for anything. This is the only thing she's ever interviewed for, and it was under duress. Dad kept on asking her to talk to them, and so they did come out and talk to her. You know what else they did? They took a bunch of my mom's photos and they never returned them. So my mom had an entire treasure trove of photos from the days, the
Yeah.
heydays,
Right.
and they had asked to borrow them and said they would give them back, and they haven't given my mom's photos back. So I know she's hot about that too.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
hmm
your poor mom.
So
She's like-
yeah, my mom was like, "Why am I in that trailer?" She's in her 70s now. She's getting older, so she doesn't like it.
Oh, man. It seems like your
She
mom
doesn't.
doesn't care to be. It does seem like your mom doesn't care to be in the limelight. Like she just, rather stay back.
Absolutely does not want to be in the limelight.
Yeah.
I really am fine with staying in the crusty outer edges myself. I don't. So like I said, they did interview me, and they were just asking me about old stuff, what I remembered from those times, which was a lot.
Right.
And asked me, because I did get pulled in front of a federal grand jury when I was 18 about my parents, and they also subpoenaed my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
They subpoenaed my boyfriend too. Yeah, so it was an interesting time, to be sure. All of that stuff. My mom does not want to be involved with that. And I kind of would prefer to stay. I wish I hadn't interviewed for it, because I don't know, it's just going to be too much. They did film me handling cobras. So, and I don't free handle. So I was using hooks and stuff, and at least hopefully they'll put a responsible um handling video on there, rather than just, I saw Al Killian at the beginning with the king, and that's not for everybody.
Yeah, and on that topic, Vanessa, I'm going to be very blunt with you about this. One of the stigmas South Florida has are people who could care less about leading by example and just picking up fucking venomous cobras or venomous snakes with their hands, all because there's a bond with that snake. And I get it. I just don't see why it needs to be on camera.
Yeah, so it's not just South Florida. There's people
Yeah,
all over the United States.
Yeah.
There's people all over the United States who do this. It's not just Florida for sure, but yeah, like I don't know. I've never handled like that. Never. I wasn't taught to handle like that. My dad was literally in there, will beat you with the snake hook if he sees you doing something crazy in that venomous room, you know what I mean? So none of that was allowed. None of that shit was allowed. So I don't really know. I didn't come from that kind of background where everybody was just,
Yeah.
one of, a bunch of dad, the whole time I grew up, honestly, I seen my lessons, right? So the entire time I was growing up, all my dad's friends that had venomous, none of them have fucking fingers. Like all of them are like stubby,
Yeah.
So that's obviously coming from you doing too much. You are doing too much right there. I don't know,
Yeah.
if you've got a whole bunch of stubs. One of my dad's really good friends was a guy named Scott Bazemore, and Scott had like 2 intact fingers on both hands. And dad, my dad is a savage. He used to be like, Scott, the only reason that you're the only person we let smoke in here, and it's because it's funny to watch you try and light a cigarette. So I'm like,
wow.
yeah, that's what my dad was always like that. So, yeah, all my dad's friends were like fucking nebby when I was growing up, and I like having fingers.
Oh, I love
I
my
like
fingers.
them.
Yeah.
They're very helpful. I'm able to do things in life. I don't know. You can see my crooked one.
Oh, I can see that. What was that
Yes.
from?
Actually a reticulated python bite.
Woo! I've been there.
I was 12. I was 12 and I got bit by a retic, and it like wrapped me up all the way to my shoulder. And it was like 4 or 5 foot, and I unwrapped it, and I couldn't get it off of that finger. I got it off of the other one. So I eventually just jerked it off. And a couple weeks later, my finger was about this big, like the size. It was a sausage. And I'm pretty stoic, and so I was crying because it was hurting, and my parents were like, "Are you crying because of pain?" And I said, "Yeah." And they were like, "Oh, we're taking you to the ER." So my parents took me to the ER, and the lady gave me some cream to rub on it. And my dad had told her, she gets bit by stuff all the time, and we have a lot of, gram-negative reptile stuff. Could it be an infection? And she said, "I'm the doctor." Well, what it turned out to be was a bone infection.
Oof.
And by the time they diagnosed it, it was all the way up to my elbow. And I had to go into surgery the very next day. And they were like, "If you don't have surgery tomorrow, we're going to have to amputate your hand." So I had surgery the very next day. As soon as they figured out what it was, I had surgery. I was in the hospital for like 4 days on IV gentamicin, which wrecks your kidneys. I was like, I was 12. I think I turned 13 while I was there in the hospital. But yeah, so I ended up, and I had a pin in that finger, and so my finger was straight. And then, and then when they jerked that that pin out of there,
Oh,
yeah, my finger was crooked. I was like, what the hell? You know, I was a little kid. Look at this ugly finger. Now I just use it, you know, right? Oh, you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
go that way? You want to go that
That
way?
way.
You want to go that way? Yeah,
Wow. So
yeah.
that could have been bad. That could have been you could have had one hand.
Yes, I would. I almost had to have my hand amputated.
Oh,
Yeah,
please, Louise. Oh
yeah. The
man.
elbow was in the infection was in my bone all the way up to my elbow, and that's why it hurt, because it was a bone
Yeah,
infection.
your whole arm,
And
correct. Yeah.
yeah, it hurt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, this hurts really bad. And you know, I would get mauled by animals all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that Cuban crocodile bit me really bad. I didn't cry. I mean, it wasn't none of that. So, and even older, I went to Wayne Hill's house one time. True story. Do you know who Wayne Hill is?
The guy from Daytona?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I went to Wayne Hill's, actually the shop, and I think I was like 20 years old, 18, 19. I might have been in my teens. Anyways, I was at Wayne Hill's house, or at his property there, and when I walked in, I was holding animals. I had like geckos and some turtles and some all kinds of stuff, and I walked in directly behind Wayne. His dog walked up and sniffed my leg and bit me.
Ooh.
And so it just used two teeth, and it went and clipped me like this with the two teeth. I only had two holes in my pants. Well, my boyfriend that was there with me, the same boyfriend from Belize that was there with me, said, "Hey, did that dog puke on your foot?" And I said, "No, it didn't." And he's like, what is on the tongue of your shoe then?" And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's meat from the inside of my leg. And so by this point, these guys are all like freaking the fuck out. Blood has already went down into my shoe, and it's squishing over the top every time I walk. And I got inside the building, and they were like, pull your pants leg up, pull your pants leg up. And when I rolled my pants leg up, fat dropped out on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
They said, ah! They said, you have to go to the hospital. And I said, could you guys put some butterflies on it? They were like, hell no. They said, you have to go to the ER. So I had to, now guess how many stitches I had to have.
How many?
This is two holes. 17.
Oof.
It clipped out an entire divot of flesh out of me, and I still have a huge scar from that to this very
What kind of dog was it?
Huge. It was like about a 90-pound staffy.
Oh my gosh. Oof.
Like a pit bullish type dog.
My God.
Pit bullish type dog. But yeah, it just walked up, acting like shit was cool, turned its head sideways like this, and went and clipped me with two teeth. Yeah, super fun.
My gosh, dude.
And then they were all the guys that were Wayne was horrified. They were all horrified. They were like, what the But yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of grievous injuries when I was young, or like pretty severe ones. And because I was crying about the finger, my parents were like, are you crying because of pain? That's how my parents always are. Like, if I'm crying because of pain, they're gonna do something for me. It's an emergency. Yeah. It's an emergency if it hurts that bad.
Oh man. I want to kind of go back to the venomous talk real quick. Free handling. Do you have any idea on why Southern Florida or Florida gets the most slack or pushback when it comes to free handlers? Like, do you have any idea why?
I'm not sure. I've seen many free handlers, and not just from Florida, so I'm not sure why why Florida's
I
in it. I
have a good guess.
freehand. Are you talking about social media because of Tyler and Chandler and all that?
That's,
Is that what you're talking about?
100%. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, that's just those two people.
Yeah, but they have
I know a lot of
huge presence. That's a thing. Like, everyone just looks at what they see that's popular. And Tyler's my boy. I have no issues with Tyler, other than he's pretty wild with certain things. That's his prerogative. But because of the following he has, and because how many people look up to him and Chandler, people automatically assume they're the biggest issues of why free handling is free handling. I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like the most shit more to get is because of those two.
Well, I certainly don't think they are. They're just two people. I mean, as far as because I know a lot of people that own Venomous, and Tyler and Chandler are just a couple of them. And Tyler and Chandler are the only ones that I know out of all the folks that just sit there and hang out and free handle stuff. They do a lot of stuff that, they do a lot of stuff. I seen it. And you know what? They've both of them have gotten hurt.
Yeah. I mean, your dad was there when Tyler lost his finger, right?
Yes.
That was your dad's Cobra.
Yes, it was. It was. It was for sure. It was Naga. So yeah.
And Vanessa, what was your dad's at the aftermath of all that? What did your dad have to say of that happening to Tyler? Like, was he pissed, or I'm just curious how your dad felt.
He stopped letting people handle Venomous at our house. If you go back and look, he stopped letting people handle Venomous after that. All of that was over with. No more. Now, Ray would come out and, extract venom, but Ray Hunter has many years experience. Ray Hunter is an OG. Ray Hunter learned under, his mentor was Bill Haast. And, Ray's injected venom in himself for, a good 30, 40 years now. So Ray has some immunities to that stuff. But Ray is one of the few, Philomena, and this is only during venom extractions. I don't free handle. I'll use a hook. I have videos of me pinning Mengshens.
Yeah, saw that
on my page. Yeah, I did. I mean, we were swapping them but in my opinion, there's really not very many reasons why you have to get animals out and handle them all the time. Yeah, there's not very many reasons why you would have to do that.
Other than the rush, right? I mean, that's kind of the only way I think about it is like that feeling. You just love that feeling of intenseness.
Now, my dad had that Mengshen Mei Mei, and he loved her, and he trusted her because he saw her. She aborted a strike with food in his hand, and also because my dad is an older guy and he doesn't care anymore. So he actually was testing to see if what people said was true, if they would just bite regardless. So he rubbed rats all over his hands and put it in front of the snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have some videos of pinning them for throat swabs, but yeah, that was me packaging some of them up. But I use hooks.
Yeah.
You see, there's hooks. But even in that picture, I had some people get on my shit and complain to me and tell me how unprofessional I was because I was wearing open-toed shoes.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Those same snakes, I handled those same snakes for 2 years straight. And I know how they behave. They're not going to jump off onto my feet. They're tree snakes. They don't like coming off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just, people got on there and said all kinds of stuff when I posted that. Oh my God, you're wearing flip-flops. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Did I put the snake around my fucking neck and kiss it on the lips? No, I did not. Like, the complaining.
You mean you didn't handle it with your feet?
Right? I used it with my toes. I picked it up. I had my foot lifting it up instead of the hook. Like, God. People are wild, man, for real.
Like we said, people. There's always going to be something for people to say, no matter what. Especially on social media, dude. Like I said, there's not only is everyone an expert, but everyone has an opinion on social media, good or wrong. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, and I have told those people, like, if you be the change that you want to see in the world, if you want to change this industry in the direction that you want to go, you go ahead and start making a name for yourself so you can do that.
Right.
You know, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, these people are very, I've seen a lot of really crazy stuff the last couple of days. Like,
no,
what?
my gosh. And
saying feeling free to come out of it. Did you see? Oh my gosh. Have you seen? So I for real, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I decided that I was going to start trolling.
Yeah. I've seen
so I've been trolling. Those memes. Who you think made them memes? I'm over here fucking troll. I'm troll. Those weren't made up. Like, I have sat with a couple of my friends and was like, hey, help me troll real quick. Help me get some little memes together so I can troll the fuck out of some people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Trolling.
Have fun with it. Yeah, why not? Let me tell you where I'm coming from, Vanessa. And again, I'm just kind of speaking on maybe some other people's train of thought when it comes to the documentary. Obviously, your pops is at that age where he doesn't really give a fuck. I'm
going to stop you and let you know real quick. My dad has never given a fuck, just so you know. Okay. It has nothing to do with now. It has nothing to do with age. My dad has never given a fuck about the opinions of others. That's my entire life. Okay, so go ahead and proceed.
No, I'm glad you said that. But my thing is, like, obviously this hobby's growing. There's a lot of youth in this hobby. When they see somebody like your pops and other people on this documentary who are a lot older, they think now that their time's almost ran out, why should they give a fuck about protecting the hobby? And they don't care. You know, again, this is just kind of playing devil's advocate here. Like, the whole idea of them not giving a shit what happens to this hobby kind of bothers some people if that's what they're thinking. And I'm curious, like, what do you think about that? Like, regardless of the outcome, it you know, again, your dad's kind of retired at this point, if not fully retired, and a lot of the other people who are speaking on this documentary don't really have a skin in the game. So how's that fair to people who are actively pursuing this hobby? Some of them, it's their lifestyle, it's everything they do, and they're battling having to make the hobby look good versus this documentary coming out.
Well, there's a couple of things. One, my dad started filming this 15 years ago when he was a very active part of the community. So people saying that he's filming this because he doesn't give a fuck because he's retired, that's not actually the case. He was filming this long before that ever happened, and it was pitched to him as a history on the industry. And that's really what he's went into, is a history on the industry. Now, I know that my dad for sure talked about caging size and all that stuff. I heard him. So my dad was speaking on animal welfare as well, and on reptile cognition. I don't know if you have ever looked at my dad's page, but if you go all the way back, even today, my dad posted about reptile cognition in the Crutchfield Farms group. I've seen it. So he's constantly and continually posting about the welfare and the well-being of the animals. Now, as far as fucking the hobby over, he's never fucked he's never done that. He's never done that. My dad, now could the documentary be cut and pasted in certain ways. Absolutely, it could be.
Yeah.
And Dad had, I heard Dad broach that with Eric after Tiger King, because for Tiger King happened, okay, we didn't know that it could be sensationalized in that dramatic fashion. You know, he wasn't aware that that would happen. But again, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do with it. He could have done an educational piece, and it could be cut, you know, cut out of proportion. That's the risk that you run when you do things like documentaries. Now, in my dad's opinion, he's an old guy, and he wanted to have the history of the hobby out there. That's really what he was going for. And all those older guys, all the big, you know, all the guys you see on there, those guys were all part of the original, the origin story, the origin story of the hobby. Like Hank Molt. Oh, I don't know if you know who Hank Molt is, but Hank Molt was smuggling in the 70s and 60s. Like Hank Molt's been doing his thing for years. Like all these people that are in the documentary were part of the origin story for the hobby. Could it be bad for the hobby? It could be. It could be. There's no way to tell where it comes out. I'll just say to everybody, reserve your judgment until you actually see it. I don't want to hear what a piece of shit somebody is about something you haven't even seen. That's crazy work. I would never approach somebody and be like, "You're such a piece of shit," when I haven't even seen it. Like, golly, calm down. Are you giving? You know, it's whatever. I understand everybody's concerns. I do. I totally do, because I watched the Tiger King. I watched it. I understand everybody's concerns. Those people were completely. Those people were a lot different, I feel like, than the reptile industry. There was a lot more going on over there, but do I understand the concern? Yes. Yes,
a good point
I understand
there,
the concern.
is like I don't know anything about the Big Cat game, only from what I saw in Tiger King, and what I saw in Tiger King clearly was not good. It made me feel terrible for that whole entire, you know, community of cat people. So I don't know how that's going to play out with reptiles. Now, it does make me feel better that Eric was actually, you know, he cares about reptiles, it seems like, but did he sell his soul to the devil here? Like, does he care more about cashing out on another documentary versus giving a fuck about the reptile hobby? That's where I don't know where I stand on that, you know?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Eric is going to be at Daytona.
Okay.
Eric is going to be at Daytona doing a question and answer. And this will be after this comes out. If anybody has, if he's feeling that brave that he's going to come do that, if anybody has an issue, should probably head on up to the expo and talk. Yeah, go to Daytona and front him face to face. He's taking a question and answer session. And he did this a couple of years ago as well, when everybody was going crazy about it. He was at Daytona and gave a question and answer session about it. And he did tell everybody that it was a documentary on the hobby, and explained about his love for the animals and the things he had done for Tortoise Conservancy. So I would say if anybody has an issue with what Eric has done, then I know for sure I'll be at the expo, and I'll say something to his punk ass if there's a problem. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem saying shit. My tongue's not caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go right up to him and be like, "Fuck you! How dare you?"
That's a good point, though.
If it's bad, but
Daytona
like,
has
be brave. Be brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daytona. He'll be at Daytona at the Reptile Breeders Expo. So, yeah, like, which I'm sure a lot of the players will be there.
I mean, that's what Daytona is known for. I mean, some of the original motherfuckers we've had in this game that started it all go to Daytona. That's why Daytona is such a special show. because you see people at Daytona you won't find at any other reptile show.
Yeah, or I'm a reptile nepotism baby, like, because my dad was involved. Now I have a name whether I wanted it or not. I am friends with a lot of other reptile nepo babies, and at the expo I go and hang out at my friend Shay Hamper's table, and his dad was Don Hamper, who is one of the OGs in the game as well. If you look at the Hamper line lychees. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but Don's, Robbie Hamper, Don's wife, bred all those Leachianas and all those little geckos, and she was the OG. She was the original. The Hamper line was her Robbie Hamper's line, not Don's. And so I'm at the expo. I'm going to be at Shay Hamper's table. Reptile nepo babies stick together. So like there's generations of us out there, like it's not just me, it's not just Shay. There's a bunch of us, like the McGinnis's, Rob Roy, his son Matt's in the business. Like there's a lot of us around that are generationally have been in this business. So I don't know.
No, that's a good point.
If you go to Daytona.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone would have the balls to try to ruin this hobby on top of going to Daytona to take some questions. I don't. That's a very good point.
Well, yeah, like I said, he's going to be at Daytona a week after this comes out. So,
oh yeah,
I'm guessing feelings will be pretty high if it's bad. So obviously, either he's brave or it's not. It's not going to be what we think. Either he's very ballsy and has a large security team, or it's going to be a pretty cool thing. But I don't know if it will be or not. I'm just saying that's how I've been looking at it.
No, it's a good way to look at it. First and foremost, I don't know how tight you are with Eric, but it'd be cool if you could get Eric on this show. That'd be awesome.
Well, I do know him, and I actually have his number. I could text him, but I can. I'm not sure if he'd be interested in giving interviews, but I mean, shit. If I see him, even at the show, I'll ask him. Hi, would you be interested in giving an interview?
Yeah, I mean, again, because if he is obviously after you putting me on game with what he's done with conservation and stuff, I think a lot more people need to realize that. I didn't know that until you just said that. I had no clue. So Eric's always been this person who's been up to no good in my eyes, and I've had some type of feeling because of it. But then now that you are telling me what this guy's background is and what he's known for, that kind of changes the whole playing field when it comes to this.
Yeah, he's been doing tortoise conservation for a very long time. And he's been involved in this hobby. My dad has known him and done business with him since the 1970s, since before I was born. And Eric went to prison for smuggling. So I don't know. I mean, he didn't do, obviously didn't do so good with Tiger King and stuff like that, but hopefully he does better with our hobby.
Yeah, hopefully.
I hope he does.
Yeah,
I'm gonna plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's all I can do. But in the meantime, I'm gonna troll. That's it. You should see the memes I have made. Just wait.
I've seen
They're
most
coming.
of them. I haven't seen the one.
Oh no, you've seen.
Yeah,
you've seen two. I still got a whole bunch of them. Sitting back here. I'm trolling.
Oh my God. You're my type of person, Vanessa. I'll tell you that much.
You see me trolling, see them hating. Yeah. I'm out here trolling.
I get to that level of pettiness if you put me there myself. If you put me in that position, okay, let's play. You want to play? We'll fucking play. I got the time somehow to make it happen. So don't fuck with me. I'm the same way, dude.
personally, I'm feeling that level of petty right now. And then we have these folks getting in my motherfucking inbox, and I've had to tell a couple of them, like, hey, some guy told me, your dad threatened me, and I never forgot it. Hey, buddy, you know, maybe you should grow some testicles and talk to him about it. I don't know why the fuck you're in my inbox. Like,
Speaking to his
come
daughter.
on, like, he's almost 80 years old. You've obviously had plenty of time to address that issue, but we're too pussy too. Maybe you should go handle that. Like, get the fuck out of my inbox before I post you.
Another stigma of the reptile hobby, Vanessa. Everybody has something so strongly to say about somebody except to that person. Nobody ever goes to that person to express how they're feeling, but they'll go to their relatives, they'll go to their friends, they'll go to their fucking social media platforms, but never to the source. And it never made sense to me. It never did.
I'll tell people straight to their face. I am not scared in the slightest. My dad at least gave me that. And you know, my dad will straight up get in your business. My dad is not shy. He has always said his opinion and stated it outright. But yes, there is a entire backbiting, blood in the water shark type of mentality that a lot of these folks have, which I think is hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, what how can I care about them? Somebody's like told me that I was unethical because I told him, thank you for commenting because he was talking shit. I said, thank you for commenting and bringing the algorithm's attention to my content. You're making me money. I appreciate it. And he said, you are unethical. He said, you are unethical. And I said, unethical? I said, if I have to listen to you talk shit, I might as well be getting paid for it. That's optimism and capitalism. America. Fuck out of here.
Stupid.
Like, what? Yeah, you're dumb. Like, I'm definitely getting paid for this.
Yeah, dude. I've seen so many people on a fucking daily, Vanessa, that like to throw stones and hide. You know, if you're gonna throw stones, fucking do it with your chest open, you know, like stand there. But these motherfuckers love to throw stones and they don't want people to see who threw it. And it's like, what the fuck is that gonna do for you? Scary ass energy, man.
If I say something, I'm gonna stand 10 toes in on business, and I'm gonna say it with my whole chest forward, right in your face. If I'm wrong, okay, I'll apologize in the exact same fashion. But correct. I will tell you what, I will 100% is up in your grill. I do not care. And people ask me like, "What's your opinion?" Well, I think he's a piece of shit. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how I was raised that way. I cannot. We're Floridians, buddy. You know, there is a certain side to Florida that we have. But yeah, I don't know. I hope this thing goes good.
Same.
I hope this is good. I am hoping for the best, and I am planning for the worst. If it is fucking bad, well, first of all, my dad's gonna go crazy on Eric. That's first of all. My dad's absolutely going to lose his ever-loving mind on him. But it won't just be, I mean, I will be very upset if it is very bad. I hope it is not. I believe everything that I saw was them all filming the history of the industry. The only real concern that I have is them talking with the newer crowd,
the younger ones. Yeah, no, I agree.
That is my largest concern. Who in the younger crowd, what responsible portion of the younger crowd did you fucking talk to? Or did you just talk to these sensationalized YouTubers? Did you just talk to YouTubers? Or did you talk to real herpers?
Yeah, that's
or
a good
did
point.
you talk to real herpers? So there's a difference between YouTubers and real herpers, and some YouTubers are real herpers, but some of them are not. They're, you know what I mean? They're not. Some of them are not. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. It just depends on which one you're getting. So I don't know. I would, That's my concern with it. Who did they talk to? Did they talk to Jeff Leibowitz? I fucking hope they didn't talk to
I
Jeff
hope not.
Leibowitz.
I hope not.
I hope not too, because
Yeah.
golly, he's got to screw loose. He sent me a private. I ended up blocking him on social media. But he had sent.
He's sick, dude. Like, there's something wrong with that dude. He's legit sick.
No, for sure. He sent me a message one time. Like, he kept on sending me messages, and I was ignoring him because it's fucking weird. And I'm tired. I don't deal with guys in my inbox. But anyways, he was sending me all these messages, and finally sent me like, if I handle my inland taipan naked, will you marry me?
Ooh.
No. No, I won't.
No, I will not.
And I will, in fact, block you, weirdo, in case I accidentally get a naked picture. What the fuck?
Oh, dude.
But yeah, like, this is the kind of I realized he was insane when I saw him hanging a baby fuzzy mouse, a live one that was wiggling back and forth with his fingers over an eastern diamondback's head, a baby one. So babies don't have good aim.
Right.
Babies don't have good aim. And I've gotten bitten plenty of times by non-venomous stuff dangling mice. Like, you're a dumbass. Like a legit dumbass. You're so dumb. But yeah, that was one of the first things I ever saw of his, was like him using his fingers to dangle a mouse over a baby EDB. And like, if you get bit by an EDB, you better not. I hope your pantry wasn't full.
I mean, the case of delusion that this guy has, him getting bit by that taipan, because he was showing you how you should handle it, and then he gets bit, literally on fucking life support. I just, and then again, he came back, after his animals got taken, and he's back doing the same shit.
Oh, I know. He should never be allowed to own another animal.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. All of his animals were in terrible shape. Anytime I ever see his animals, they look like they're in terrible shape. They're unhappy. They're in terrible caging. Like, why do you have an eastern diamondback in an aquarium? That's a terrible setup for an EDB. They're cryptic animals. They like to hide. So why is it out there in the open, fully exposed? No wonder everything dies. You don't even pay attention to how they live.
Yeah.
You're not every single animal. I don't see him having a 10-year-old animal. Where's any of your animals?
So
what's
that's
the oldest animal you have, buddy?
So that's one thing you don't know for sure, is if Eric interviewed that guy or not. You're not too sure.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Oof. I don't know, and that is concerning. But they're just gonna, it's just gonna make him look like a complete and fucking total nut job. He's nuts.
Yeah, well, the whole hobby will look like a nut job with that guy on it, for sure.
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't know who else he interviewed, but all the old guys are just basically telling stories of the old days, of things that happened, adventures they went on, stuff that occurred, like the smuggling stories, all that. I'm sure gonna hear a lot of my dad's stuff, but my real concern was, who of the new people did they choose to interview?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they interview somebody like Bob Vu?
Yeah.
Or Darian Drollinger?
Yeah.
I mean, Darian Drollinger, like, why can you not, it would be really nice if you interviewed the responsible members of the hobby as well.
The ones that are making this a better place.
Yeah, like if you're talking about new hobby wise.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh-oh. My car just turned off for no reason. I love that for me. But good? Yeah, no, I'm fine. It turned back on.
Okay. All right. Well, we're almost done. I know Tyler obviously was somebody who's going to be in the documentary. I'm just curious if they highlighted what happened to him on your dad's property and getting into details where, I mean, that might make your pops look bad. Not that he cares, but I'm wondering how much in depth they got into what's happened to Tyler over the course of years he's been keeping reptiles. and whatnot.
I'm certain they went into the bite, and my dad, like I said, that did change things at my dad's place. He stopped allowing people to handle the venomous after that because he stopped letting people handle the venomous because of you know, because of liability. Yeah, because you can't guarantee how people are going to handle. You cannot guarantee how people are going to handle every single time. You can't. You know, somebody could be having a bad day and just mishandle. King cobras are very hard to handle with a hook, like.
And in shed, okay.
Yeah, in shed. Yeah, no, that animal was completely in shed, and I think Dad had told him that it was in shed and not, you know, it probably wasn't a great idea to handle, you know, at that time, if I remember what my dad told me. But yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, that's probably on there. It probably is. Like if Tyler's on there, that story is definitely going to be in there.
Yeah,
definitely.
One of the biggest stories of Tyler being associated with snakes is that exact scenario, that story for sure.
Of course, yeah, I'm sure that's in there.
Yeah, well, hopefully,
but as far as the rest of it, hopefully there's damage control.
Yeah, and hopefully your dad got a chance to say how much things have changed after that bite, and like how that's just not a thing that people do with his animals anymore on his property. I mean, hopefully he got an opportunity to make that clear.
Now, I do believe he did. I kind of remember something along those lines. However, whether or not they put that in the filming, but whether they put that in the finished product, I do not know. I don't know what exactly they did really. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see.
Tell.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see how it turns out. I'm interested.
Do you think this documentary could possibly make you and your pops closer again? Like, what's your I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to make this into a therapy session, but do you feel like you and your pops will get back on good terms after this? Because it seems like you care about your dad. You don't want people trying to fucking make up bullshit online. So I think you coming forward and up for your pops is great. But what do you want in the future with your pops? Like, do you want to kind of get back on good terms?
Well, I just really want peace in my life. So anything that disturbs my peace, I will keep it away from me. Yeah, I will keep it away from me. So that's part of why this I'm a little perturbed about this little documentary, because it's ruining my happy time of peace.
Right.
Because I have all these people just messaging me just random mad shit for no reason, telling me what a piece of shit my dad was, how I don't have any ethics because I'm making money from your comments on my page. That's how the internet works, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. A bunch of these people have just sat there and held grudges for 40 years and waited to drop it in a Facebook comment section. That's really what has happened. Like, we hurt your fifis a couple of, like, 20 years ago, so now you're gonna post what a piece of shit he is because your feelings got hurt. Shut up. Like, grow up. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
I'm just a grown adult, and I just don't understand it. I would never go out of my way to post negative things on the internet.
And again, they're doing it because they're doing it from home. They're safe. They're not doing it face to face. So people are so confident when it comes to having a keyboard in front of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
I wish they would. I wish they would. Oh,
man. No shit. Oh, God.
I'm nice, but I'm not soft. Those are two totally different things. So being nice and soft, they're completely separate issues. So these people talk all this shit and they think everything's cool. Bro, what? I'll front you in your face. I'll come right up to you smiling. And say, hey, would you like to say that now? You talking shit? Would you like to say some more? Like, I'll front somebody straight up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, listen, my last question for you, Vanessa, and this is a really good podcast. I appreciate you taking time on your day off to talk to me. Regardless of the outcome of this documentary, for the people who are passionately in this hobby, what's the next move? Like how what's the right thing to do, regardless of this hobby being right or bad? What should we do as hobbyists to make sure we make this hobby a better place? Like, what would be your feedback on that?
One, be welcoming and give information to newcomers. Don't gatekeep information. I hate that. I hate that. You should never gatekeep information. That's one. That's to make it a positive place for newcomers to even want to come to. No gatekeeping of information. Two, make sure that the welfare of the animals is your number one priority. So make sure that the animals that you're caring for are in the best possible health they can be. Make sure that you have a veterinarian that you can reach out to. Make sure that all the animals' needs are not just met but surpassed. Like, make sure that you're not stuffing a 20-foot retic into a 9-foot vision cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's things that we have to do, things for the welfare of these animals that are not being done. We need to stop selling fucking sulcatas as a kid's pet. A sulcata's not a kid's pet.
Yeah.
We need to stop mass importing shit like water monitors and tegus and iguanas. That's been done since I was a little kid. There should be enough adult animals in here in this country to repopulate. Like, you should be breeding enough of these. But they're so cheap coming in as imports that people don't want to breed them. So there's a very easy way to stop that. Cut down on those excessive imports. Well, why the fuck are we still importing ball pythons? Explain that.
Yeah.
There's, there was 50,000 ball pythons on MORPHMARKET last year. So explain to me why the fuck we're still importing them.
Right.
We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be selling mass producing giant snakes. Who has the capability of housing them properly? Who has the capability of housing them properly? The answer is very few people. Very, very few people. And these people are housing them in these tiny boxes. And then they say things like, they like being here. No, I've seen retics climbing trees in the wild. I've seen retics doing all kinds of stuff. So they don't like being in those little ass boxes. I don't care what you say. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do to change it. But one is speaking up for the welfare of animals in our care and custody. And that's one of the things. And it's hard because these people get mad, but, that not speaking up for you, speaking up for the animal. So I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings. And so, yeah, we need to speak up for the animals. And we need to not gatekeep information to newbies. We need to be kind.
Yeah. Would you say the best case of example for anyone keeping in this hobby is how you keep your animals? I mean, that's the best way to lead by example, you would say, right?
Well, my dad has went out of his way to make habitats for the animals that are nice, very nice, and very large. There is always room for improvement. No matter how large your habitat is, no matter what you do. There's a Reptilandia in Texas.
That's cool. Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, I've done a few vlogs. I love that place, man. It is.
I've never been there, but I've known Quetzal since I was a small child. And Reptilandia, from what I've seen, is like what I would call an ideal place.
Yeah, it's like
for
Jurassic
reptiles
Park.
To be.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. My buddy Ari did a great job. My buddy Ari, you know who Ari Flago is? You know who Ari is?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
my
Bolin's
buddy
Python
helped,
man.
Oh yeah. But my buddy Ari helped build that place from the ground up, and I've seen all stages of that place, and it's probably the nicest reptile zoo in the country, hands down, if not the world.
Spectacular. Yep. Quetzal has always been a wonderful part of this community. Quetzal. He's been around since I was a child.
Yeah, he's OG.
There's
for
a lot
sure.
of it. There are a lot of those guys. But so that's the thing too. A lot of those guys, a lot of a lot of them wouldn't talk to Eric. So Eric was limited with who he could interview.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Well, I guess time will tell here shortly. You're confirmed going to be at Daytona this year, correct?
I am.
All right. Well, hopefully a lot of people could come say hi to you if you're there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the Hampers table.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Do you normally go to every Daytona, or has it been a while? Yeah.
Yep. I went last year. Went the year before. Went the year before that. Yep.
They say it might be the last year. Next year, 2027, might be the last Daytona. What do you think of that?
It would be the end of an era and end of the golden era. But I'm imagining somebody would take over the stuff from Wayne.
I heard Wayne won't ever let anyone take over.
Well, that's entirely possible. Wayne is a very strong person. But if he's deciding not to do the show anymore, he may
pass the torch
to somebody. Yep.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't go away, because I've only been at one Daytona, but I'm telling you right now, at all the shows I've been to, nothing has hit like a Daytona. Like, it's a special, magical place. I'll tell you that.
Yo, baby, you should have been to the first one.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I was born.
It was in 1989. Oh, shut up.
Oh, I was born in 85, so I was 4 years old.
So it was in 1989, and it was at the Howard Johnson in Orlando. And it was the very first trade show. It's something that, the very first trade show in the United States. So nobody else had a trade show, and Wayne does it right in Orlando, which is right by where we're at. So Dad, has a whole shebang, and we're right by the doors. Well, so many people showed up that they didn't even know what to do. Like, when the doors opened, these people flooded in, and it was like literally packed with humanity in there. And I remember my dad had some captive bred radiata in there, and there was a literal fucking bidding war with people, handfuls of cash, screaming, arguing about these radiated tortoises. It was a pretty wild time, that first expo. So it's interesting to see how it's evolved over the years. But yeah, Daytona, the Daytona show is always a fucking trip. Ooh, out there partying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a party.
Oh my gosh. Well, Vanessa, this was a great episode. I definitely want to have you back on. I love the history of this hobby, and I love the real ones that are still part of this hobby. And you're definitely one of the realest people I've met in this reptile hobby, Vanessa.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. And I would love to come back. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes. Anything you want to close off with? Any closing statements? The floor is yours if there's anything you'd like to say.
I would just say withhold judgment on what this is going to be about until we actually watch it. Once we watch it, then by all means, everybody go crazy. But until then, wow, calm down. Calm down a little bit.
Yeah,
but it was super nice doing this. This was fun, and I'll be happy to do it again.
All right. Well, we'll see you again, guys. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Give it up. It's a wrap for Vanessa Crutchfield, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Thank you. All right.
Talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ooh, what a great episode, man. That was awesome. Can't really say enough about Vanessa. I mean, so happy I got to get to know her better. Dude, she's the real deal, Holyfield. And again, her upbringing is not like anyone else's in this hobby. When your dad's Tom Crutchfield, best believe you've seen a thing or two. So, and again, I kind of feel better about, I kind of feel better of what we're going to be expecting here with the documentary. I'm still kind of unsure, but like Vanessa said, I'm going to hold off on having any emotions towards it until I see it. you know, with me not knowing about Eric Good's past with the reptiles, you know, it kind of made me feel some type of way. Like, what's this guy's motive? He's just a filmmaker going around filming animal documentaries, making them look terrible. But again, you know, is it him making it look terrible, or is it really terrible things happening? You know, with Tiger King, there was some pretty fucked up situations with, you know, the two main characters, I guess you could say. You know, Chimp Crazy. If you guys haven't seen Chimp Crazy, it's crazy. And I'm not talking about the animals. I'm talking about the people. The people are fucking really out there. And we all know the reptile world has people out there too. But I'm hoping we see some good lighting on the reptile world with this documentary. But time will tell, guys. Time will tell. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Definitely looking forward to bringing Vanessa back on for another round of you know, topics to discuss. You know, maybe after the documentary comes out, we'll bring her back on, see what her take is, and hopefully she could get me Eric Good on the show. I would love to talk to that guy. I really would. So either way, guys, for now, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. By hitting that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell, it puts this channel out to people who are wanting to learn about reptiles. It does a lot more than you think by hitting that subscribe button. Okay, I've been organically growing this channel over the last 6 years. So by hitting that subscribe button, it does more than you think, and it helps me and others out a lot in this hobby. So, but yeah, guys, what an episode, man. Vanessa Crutchfield episode 801 is in the books. Okay. See you guys on the next episode. Quick word from our sponsors. I'll see you next time, and I'm out. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, brought to you by ZooMed.
ZooMed is proud to be supporting the Trap Talk Reptile Network. At ZooMed, reptiles are our passion. For over 48 years, we've been creating premium foods, supplies, and habitats for reptiles and other exotic animals. We're a company made up of hobbyists that test our products on the hundreds of animals that we care for here every single day. Whether you're an established breeder or a first-time hobbyist picking up your first ball python, ZooMed has you covered with everything you need to keep your animals happy and healthy.
I'm excited to talk about this new product with ZooMed called the Slither Sense. It is a remote temperature and humidifying monitoring system, which we all know how important temperature and humidity is to your reptile. And for you to have remote access to your temperature and your humidity in your reptile room could really, really be a game changer for the longevity of you keeping reptiles. So guys, make sure you check out that product. Find the link in the description below. Click on it right now. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Let me know how you're liking a brand new ZooMed product. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, the #1 PVC enclosure in the reptile industry. Hands down, everything you guys see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. My entire room at this point, all Focus Cube Habitat enclosures, and that is for a real reason. My reptiles love them. I've had majority of these Focus Cube Habitats behind me for over 6 years now. So guys, if you're looking to expand your reptile room and get yourself some new enclosures, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitat. You head over to focuscubehabitats.com and see how many different design enclosures you could choose from. And you can also follow them on Instagram and stay updated with all current new enclosures on their YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. And I think I got new enclosures in the driveway, so I gotta go. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, you are the best. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that's the one and only Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. One of the biggest exciting things about the reptile hobby over the past couple years is Morph Market Shipping taking everything to the next level. Anything as far as reptile purchasing or selling needs can all be done on Morph Market's website. So I highly suggest you go check it out, especially if you're in the market of purchasing your first, second, or third, or fourth reptile. You can find a bunch of legitimate breeders on Morph Market's platforms. They stand very tall on representing the best breeders we have in the hobby. So don't look anywhere else when it comes to looking for your new reptile. Not to mention, if you're looking for aquatics or your next plant, Morph Market's a spot for you as well. Make sure you head over to morphmarket.com. And the best thing about Morph Market's platform, you could ship directly from their website with Morph Market Shipping. Morph Market Shipping has saved this hobby millions of dollars as a whole. I myself saved thousands with Morph Market Shipping last year due to their insanely cheap rates. So definitely go take advantage of these rates on top of the amazing customer service that comes along with Morph Market Shipping. Shout out to Darian and Zach, and shout out to the entire Morph Market team. So proud to be a part of this team. Thank you so much for Morph Market Shipping and Morph Market, and so excited to announce new Morph Market features that are going to be hitting the reptile hobby real soon, like live sales on Morph Market. Thank you so much, Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. Thank you for all the fellow support. Thank you so much for anyone who watches the Trap Talk Reptile Network. Hit that like button. If you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, you'll be notified of every new episode dropping here out of the network 7 days a week. And also by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, it pushes this network out to other new keepers coming into the hobby. So by you doing that, it does more than you think. So thank you so much again for all the support. And if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We're doing big things over here and we really appreciate it.